This podcast is Entel enhanced. To see pictures, articles and links of what's being discussed, download the Entel app.
Hello, welcome to the BiG Scuba Show.
Thank you so much. We're really excited to be here. My name is Manuel Bustelo, Manu, the shortest version of the name, and I'm happy to be in the BiG Scuba Podcast together with Ian and Gemma.
Hi Ian, hi Gemma, I am Alana. I'm super excited to be here spending time with all these divers that are so inspiring to me.
Welcome back to the BiG Scuba Podcast. We are your hosts, Gemma and Ian. Before we get cracking with today's episode, we just want to make sure you have hit that follow button or the subscribe button, depending on what platform you are listening on. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts and you enjoy what you're going to hear today, we would really appreciate it if you can leave a review and a 5-star rating. So now that's out of the way, we just want to say welcome and thank you for all tuning in. And now it's time to dive into today's episode.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the BiG Scuba Podcast. It's another week, another episode, it's another day. Hello and welcome. My name's Ian, I am one of the co-hosts, and with me is...
Hello Gemma, I'm the other co-host. So
Yes.
we're recording this on Sunday, a sunny Sunday.
Yeah, so, it'll be on Monday, so happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
That's a band. The Happy Mondays, remember the band, Happy Mondays?
That was a song, wasn't it?
No, it's the band.
No.
Back in the day.
too young.
Anyway, let's move on. So welcome and thanks for downloading this episode. We are a diving podcast and we talk about all things having fun under the water and above the water, because sometimes we go paddleboarding and kayaking, etc., like some other divers do as well.
Yeah, well, if you're involved in the watery world, there's various things you could get up to, isn't there?
Yeah. This week we have got another guest. Well, actually, we've got two guests for you. They've been travelling around Europe as part of this sustainable initiative that they put together with Dan Europe and Hyundai Cars and a whole host of other brands. And they've been going around Europe. They did that last year. And then this summer, they've been going around the UK, Ireland, Scotland, been to Scapa, I believe. Yeah,
they've been right up north. And then, since we've spoken to them, they've been out in the west.
Yeah, been Fourth Element and Cornwall and all around that way, haven't they? So we've got coming up is Manuel Bustelo, and I'm so hope I've got this pronunciation right. So sorry if I haven't. And also Alana Alvarez.
Yes, and they do say what their names are as we get to talk to them.
Sorry to add a bit of Norfolkism there, but there we go. That's the best I can do.
In a Spanish accent.
Yes, sorry. So we do our best. But anyway, so they're coming up and they're involved with Dan Europe, and they are going to be talking to us all about this sustainability journey that they're on.
Yeah, and
someone else who's on a journey.
Yeah, and they're all really enthusiastic, aren't they? Yeah.
Divers who are on a journey. Who thought about that?
And they met on a bus, didn't they?
Yeah, of course that. They talk about how they met, and also talk about the whole, why they're doing it. Really.
Yeah.
And,
no, it's good to listen.
They aren't just aimlessly travelling around the UK. There is actually a point to it as well. Yeah. So which is really cool. We've got a few shout outs actually we need to do before we get to both those guys. We haven't really done much this week, have we?
No, well, it's been a bit of a week, isn't it? We had the Queen's funeral on Monday.
Yeah.
So we've
just been work, really.
Yeah, we've done some work on the website.
Yes, yeah, have a look at the website. Give us any feedback. It looks a bit different and a bit more reflects
easy
a bit more about
to
us,
navigate, I think is.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point, and it's a bit more detailed, and there's still work in progress, still bits to do on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a look to the website, thebigscuba.com, and
let us know what you think.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Any feedback is always appreciated. So that's kind of what we've been up to really this week. What other people have been up to? Well, Shaf.
Yes.
You know what Shaf's been up to, because we need to say congratulations, Shaf, to Shaf and his wife. And
he's become a dad.
Yes,
he's got a baby daughter. Yes, yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, some great photos that very arty photos of her.
Yeah, very nice. So congratulations to them. And I'm sure you've got all this whole new thing of being a dad. So that's really cool.
Takes the priorities changed a little bit.
Yeah. So that's really good. Steve Baxall, talking about kids. Steve Baxall's got a great competition out. You might have seen that already. It's been on some social media. But if you haven't, and you've got a 12 to 14-year-old who's a budding diver, doesn't matter whether they are a diver already or they're thinking about learning, there's a great competition, and you can take part in Steve Baxall's series Deadly Mission Shark, which is going to be out next year. He's recording that at the moment. Take people to Bahamas, and if the children can't dive, they'll teach them how to dive, and they'll have this great experience with Steve and I guess the crew with sharks.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds amazing. In fact, I have said it to my 12-year-old.
You're going to get Scuba Honey to enter. Yes.
And said, you need to get your video, because you need to get a video, do a video and send that in online to why you want to take part, or they, so parents, no.
Have a little trick.
No.
So the video
it's
just...
for the children. Although I thought about it as well, actually. I thought,
pretend you're a 12-year-old.
Yeah, well, nearly passed. Well, 25. I'm not sure about 12, but 25 you get away with.
Anyway,
so
what sort of
moving
video
on. So
do you have to
you've got
do?
to send the video in by the 7th of October.
But has the video got to be water related?
It's got to be why you want to go.
Okay, so that's good.
So, doesn't have to be very long. It's not got to be war and peace, but short video. But it's got to be interesting.
Inventive.
Yeah, because otherwise there's going to be... They don't want people just standing.
I want to be.
I'm a diver. I want to go. My name's Gemma, and I want to be a diver.
Wait.
No, so it's not that. Go to. If you go to Scuba Dive magazine, it's all on there. But if you go to BBC website, it's on there as well. Yeah. Just
we'll
look
put
up
some links.
Steve Baxall's Deadly series, and it's all on there as well. So it's got quite a bit online about it. Okay. Another shout out we've got to do to a previous guest, actually. In fact, Grace was one of our very first guests. She was back in 2020.
Yeah, she came on with two other girls, Inka Cresswell.
Yeah.
And
May Doricott.
That's it.
Yeah. Who were our very first guests. Grace, we've kept in contact with, and seen Grace do amazing stuff.
Yeah, she's really flourished. We've met her and we've met her dad.
She jumped out of a plane as well, hasn't she? I'm sure I've seen a
yes,
picture
she
of her
did
jumping out of a
yeah,
plane.
she did. Yeah,
skydiving, learned to be a free diving instructor.
Yeah, she's a lifeguard.
And
so
astronaut. All sorts of things.
Yeah, and an amazing photographer as well.
Yeah. Grace.
She's now at university as well. She's just a first year.
Yeah,
commencing.
and and her dad is always kept busy by Grace.
Yes, ferrying around. He's lovely. Yes,
hello to them both. But Grace, has been picked up by the World Ocean Day Youth Advisory Council.
Yeah, so there's
which is really cool.
26 of them representing 20 countries. So that's really an amazing achievement.
That is, yeah. So
quite exciting.
I think Grace, will find for us all, will be one of the people for the future to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Certainly seems to be that way. So well done to Grace.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And if you want to go back and listen to Grace's episode,
Grace, you need to come on the show again, because
we probably could do with an update.
What else is going on, and what else you've been up to?
Yeah, so open invite, Grace.
Yeah. Diving talks in Portugal.
Yeah, that's happening
coming up soon.
7th to the 9th of October.
Are you going? Let us know.
Oh, I'd love to go.
That wasn't actually. But if you are going,
it was only a couple of days, wasn't it?
Represent the BiG Scuba. Do let us know.
Yeah, there's a good range of speakers that are going to be there talking.
Some have been on BiG Scuba.
Yeah, Lee Bishop being one of them.
Yeah. But there's quite a few. There's so hello to everybody who's going to be going, and it would be good to get your feedback.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be.
Looks like a really major. I've not been myself. It looks like a major show to attend.
And then
Dima's in early November, 1st of November.
There's some good. It's all happening. It's all starting. The world.
Hello, Tech Clark, the former guest.
Yes, and he'll definitely be there.
Yeah, he's there. So he's leading the way. Bless him. So that's really good. What else have we got to? There was another announcement of Women Divers Hall of Fame.
There were 3 inductees, weren't there?
Yeah, and they are. First up is Erica Lopez from Colombia, Andrea Marshall from Mozambique, and also, I believe, Sylvia Earle's daughter, Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, that's great. Isn't it?
So it's, 3 awesome ladies there who now been inductees, which is really cool.
Added to the list.
Yeah, and, Elizabeth Taylor's in California. So hello, all 3. Be nice to hear from you at some stage, and maybe come on. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that says no. We'll add them to the list.
Yeah. That'd be really good. So a growing band of illustrious ladies leading from the front.
Illustrious ladies.
Yeah. That'd be really good. And obviously, we always hear from Christina, who's involved as well.
And we've spoken to Chantel Newman, who scouts for people to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's another contact.
Yeah. Brilliant. Somebody else who's doing some awesome things coming up this week, actually. If you are in the Stony Cove diving this week, looking out for Wheels Dan. Do you know who Wheels Dan is?
He's a swimmer.
He is. Wheels Dan is Dan Metcalf. Now, Dan is got a bit of a challenge. So Dan's disabled. He's got muscle paralysis, and he's got he's doing this for charity. There's a reason why he's doing it, but he's going to do a mile underwater swim at Stony Cove, which he's going to keep to about 6 to 8 meters
with
deep.
a scuba set on.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You just said swim.
A mile underwater swim.
It's because I haven't read the article.
The clues in the mile underwater.
I was just checking, just clarifying.
You could be snorkeling with a very long snorkel.
Yes.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Yeah. That's one of the classics. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. Anyway, moving on. So, he's going to be snorkeling for a whole...
No.
Using a scuba kit.
Right.
Going to be diving.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yes. Yeah. So he's going to be diving for doing a whole mile swim, which is really cool. And he's doing that for the air ambulance. And that's he's doing that on the 28th of September, which is this week.
It is actually, this week coming.
Yeah. So look out for him. Don't get in his way. Because sometimes the visibilities can be a little bit iffy on the old shelf after a few diving schools have been jumping in. You know what it's like. But look out for him if you're up there on the 28th.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. So good luck with that, Dan, and hope it all goes well.
Yeah, and if you want to contribute, we'll put the link in the show notes, and so you can read a bit more about it.
Yeah, goes to a great cause, air ambulance. So that's really cool. And later today, I've got my emergency first responder
refresher course
today. So because that's
we'll be in safe hands again.
Yes, always are.
Yeah, no, but it's a good thing to do, and you need to do that for your dive mastering duties.
Yeah. Hello, all you happy people at Crystal Sea Scuba. I'll see you there later. Anything else that you've been up to?
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to get out in the water.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go paddleboarding with scuba honey.
Yes. Because actually, we were going to do it yesterday, but shocking day yesterday. So
blue sky day today. So,
it's quite nice.
Get out there and see what wildlife we can see and get a bit of fresh air.
We have a little bit of news on the BiG Scuba front. So last week, we told you about, and we had an interview with Sean Clements from SDC Watchers.
So he's
and we'll be sharing more about that, diving with it more as time go on. Really nice watch. I wore it for CrossFit yesterday, and it,
looks good. Yeah, it's a dive watch, not a dive computer.
It's nice, you know, and it looks good. So look out for that. There'll be more sharing. But we've also teamed up with, because we really like this brand, is Waterhaul.
Yeah, well, they've got good values, haven't they? They're recycling discarded fishing net into...
all these ghost nets and discarded line and sails and all sorts.
Yeah, they're making sunglasses, litter picking equipment, bags out of sails.
Yeah, all sorts of
amazing.
Stuff. And their packaging comes in plastic free, which is really good.
Yeah.
So look them up if you're wondering who Waterhaul is, waterhaul.co. And if you go to their website and there's something you like, there's a promotion code. We like to give you a promotion code, how you can save some money. Put in BiG Scuba as your promo code and save yourself some money. How about that?
So it's a very simple code, BiG Scuba.
So if you're out there and you've got a litter pick coming up, or you're thinking about organising one, because remember when we spoke to Dave Kennard a few weeks ago, he was talking about, keeping your area, your back garden, so to speak.
That's where it starts.
Your own beaches, that's where you can do some good stuff, and if you go to waterhaul.co, you can get all the gear you need.
Yeah, they do a big range of sunglasses. Yeah, all different designs.
And
they come in.
Really cool.
They come with a case, which is a good selling point because not often.
Yeah, so if you think about Christmas presents and what have you, it's a nice thing to do. You can give somebody some nice set of new sunglasses, and you're putting, turning some old nets and what have you into something good.
Yeah, exactly. So have a look at their website. Links in the show notes. But it's waterhaul.co.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's kind of covered everything over.
Yeah. We've had a reasonably busy week. So.
Yeah. We're hoping to be diving. I should be teaching
dive mastering, aren't you? Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be doing something in the next week or so. But anyway, coming up, so we have got Manuel and Alana.
Yep.
And they're going to be talking to us about the whole sustainability tour, about what they're doing with Dan Europe.
About the diving.
Yeah.
So
and
really interesting.
And why they're doing it. And they're going around with this electric car.
Yeah, pure electric, so they've had to charge it all across their journeys. So,
So they're going to talk to us about that. So let's sit back, let's do that, and we'll catch you afterwards.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Okay, everyone, thanks for joining us. So we've got some great guests again for you this week. And today we've got not just one guest, we've got two guests. And we've got Alana and Manu. And both from Dan Europe, and they're doing this amazing tour, this sustainable tour, and they've been around Europe, and now they're in the UK this year, and they've been going around different dive sites, about 50 dive centres, and been the width and breadth of the UK, spreading the message of sustainable diving using this great Hyundai car, and powered by sustainable electric as well. So we're going to hear all about it. And so enough of me. Let's get Alana and Manu on, and let's have a chat. So Alana and Manu, welcome to the BiG Scuba Podcast, and thank you very much for joining us. It's really cool that you've given us some of your time. What is it about diving that excites you guys?
All right, so I'll start. Many things. So it's difficult to pick, but if I have to, I'll say one that actually summarizes everything, and is that by scuba diving, I am able to explore 2/3 of planet Earth.
Wow.
If I wasn't able to scuba dive, and I love traveling, and I love adventure, and I love exploration, I will only be restricted to 1/3 of planet Earth, which is above the surface.
For me, it's just everything. Every time I'm underwater, it reminds me what is my place on Earth. It makes me realize that no matter how big our troubles seem to be, actually we are so tiny, so little compared to this amazing underwater world.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Now, we got you on, as I said earlier, to talk about this tour, but I think what would be really nice to hear, what actually got you in the water, both of you. So ladies first, Alana, you tell us what got you into the water. Was is that a member of the family?
It was him. It was love. So I met this incredible guy, Manu, on a bus, actually, and he started talking to me about scuba diving and showing me videos of the colors that were underwater, and I was so amazed. I was like, okay, no, I need to go there. So after a while, he took me diving, and here I am, 4 years later, completely in love with him and the underwater world.
I feel like gooseberries now on this.
So did you ever consider diving before you met, or was it just off your radar?
No, not even for once. No, not at all. Even if I grew up in Venezuela, it's a Caribbean country, but I never for once thought about scuba diving until I met him. So I owe this special part of my life to him.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow.
Yeah. So how far into your sort of diving are you? What sort of qualifications have you done so far?
I am an advanced diver.
Yeah,
I'm still looking forward to increase my knowledge. I want to keep learning, but so far I am enjoying the way it is. So
yeah, just take your time, and it's a journey.
I have the rest of my life to continue learning. So I'm
This is it. Yeah, this is it. And you've got quite a science background, haven't you?
Yeah.
So do you find that interesting when you're diving, sort of like having that background?
Yes, absolutely. I am a pharmaceutical chemist. So actually the project we're carrying out right now is related to ocean acidification, which I am really interested about, I'm passionate about. So for me, it's incredible to be able to join my passion and my background in knowledge to try to help our oceans.
Yeah. And is any of your family, any of them been interested in diving?
Yes,
so are you the first?
Yes, they are really interested, but none of them dive yet. My dad would love to, but he doesn't even know how to swim. I will need to start by showing him that. But no, not yet. They're all interested, but I have a sister that is a surfer, so she surfs, but no underwater families yet.
Yeah, well, it's still time. There's still time.
Always.
And you are for Dan Europe, a sustainability and is it customer service manager as well?
Sustainability and CSR.
So what is it you actually do? So where does that, what do you do for Dan Europe? So does the science come into the sustainability side?
Yeah, sustainability and CSR, which stand with social responsibility. So what I'm trying to do is to help the organization to become more sustainable in all its activities and also in all the projects that we are trying to carry out. Yeah. So try to help our oceans and try to be more socially responsible and also inclusive within the diving industry.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool because, as divers, we look to Dan Europe, obviously, for insurance and leadership and things like that. So it's really good that you're doing that for the company and the organization.
There'll be a lot of people looking at Dan as just like insurance and medical, and they don't really, they won't. This will be great because it will show them that there's much more, that deeper down, that you've got those values for the ocean.
Yeah,
absolutely. You mentioned it very well. The divers look up in a way to Dan. It's a science-based and trustable organization. So we know that we have also a responsibility within the industry. That's why we wanted to create this department, and we're working hard to start this more sustainable path.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Okay. So we better speak to Manu and get, find out all about your background. And,
how did you start diving?
Well, that is all right if you talk to her only, because, often when we give presentations, I'm only there for 5 minutes and then she takes over for another hour. People seem to be more interested to talk to her than me. And I like that.
Is that true? Really?
I talk too much.
So I was born in a little town at the foothill of the Andes Mountains,
Wow.
in a town that's not so little, actually. It's the fourth largest province in Argentina. And I, grew up skiing. I think I put on a pair of skis before I learned how to walk.
Wow.
So I, kept on going to the mountains, and I did a lot of mountaineering and high altitude mountaineering and mountain biking. So all sort of sports related to mountains. And, the life path eventually, when I was 25, took me to Central America, and I got engaged in long distances, endurance MTB races, mountain bike races.
Wow.
And on my second year in Costa Rica, I met someone that said, well, if you like adventure so much, why haven't you done scuba diving? And I was like, what the heck is that? Scuba diving. And well, that person said, well, listen, if you got some spare time, just make your way to Roatan, which is an island off the coast of Honduras. I was in Nicaragua at the time. And just ask for this person in this given scuba center and do your open water. And I did it. So I took a bus, and 2 or 3 days later I was in Roatan, and I did my open water. The first time that I got into the water, I remember I looked backwards. I got this guy that was pointing like, hey, look backwards, whatever, making noise underwater, and I looked backwards, and I had 2 eagle rays that they were swimming together, coming actually towards us. They're so used to in Roatan. There's plenty of them. And I won't ever forget that image, because that kept me thinking already that very first time. I was like, maybe there's a lot that I'm missing. And I thought that I was covering a lot by the sports and adventures that I covered, but I wasn't. So as I said before, I really believe that when you learn to scuba dive, you can open your eyes to the real planet Earth, wrongly called planet Earth, which should be called planet blue or planet water.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So how long have you been diving for? Is it?
All right. So all that story took place in 2006. So it's been 16 years scuba diving, and I've been really fortunate to scuba dive in many different places. I go back to Roatan like 4 times, and I've been to lots of different seas, still lots of different other seas or places that I haven't covered. It's my dream to dive in Antarctica, under the ice. And I'm sure that will come sooner or later. It's been 16 years that I've been popping my head underwater.
And you're an instructor?
Yes, I am. The truth is that I wanted to, develop my career all the way up to instructor. I sort of was curious to understand how, how can you adapt your knowledge to teach, and actually you can be a good diver and not a good teacher, or maybe a good teacher and not so much a good diver, or both. And I did the IDC, and I became an instructor, but I had never taught. Actually, the day after I finished it, I met Alana, and that story on the bus. That story on the bus took place, and I showed her plenty of videos that I actually done in Roatan. There's one that this video about an octopus that even Discovery Channel was interested in it, and they bought me the rights for it, and I showed it to her, and she loved it. And since then, we've been diving together. So I don't want to teach; I just want to continue diving with her. I can now share it with the love of my life, and at the same time, the love that I have for the underwater world. So, it couldn't get any better than this.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And to share it as well is just, it was obviously meant to be that bus journey.
Absolutely.
That is right. And, we like it so much, the underwater world, and what it means that we actually not only are partners in life, but we're also working colleagues. We both work for Dan Europe. I am in the business development department. When we're back at the headquarters at the offices, we do sort of different activities, but this is the second year of the sustainable tour. that the kind listeners that are listening to us can check our website, which is sustainabletour.eu. And it was so successful last year that we repeated it this year, and it's going really well. So it has become a multi-year project for Dan Europe that hopefully will be developed in the many years ahead to come.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. So you're also a diving ambassador for Fourth Element as well, I believe.
That is right. Yes, I actually been an ambassador for different companies in the diving industry. I continue to be one for PADI and for the Dan Europe, despite the fact that we now work with the foundation. And I was engaged with one of the best-known scuba manufacturers out there for many, many years. And I keep, great love for them and great respect. But, there's a given point in life where, perhaps the more years, the older you get, the more you want to be true to yourself. And, since we are so involved with sustainability in many different aspects, I wasn't feeling comfortable if I, wasn't working with a company that, such as Fourth Element, that it has been born with a sustainable gene, DNA. So that's what actually pushed, the founders to come out with a sustainable scuba brand. So, when the opportunity came, we jumped on it straight away. I always admire, Fourth Element for their ocean positive attitude. And now it's like a dream that, became true, working together with Alana and Fourth Element. So I think that there's a lot of very interesting years ahead and many, many great adventures, and in particular developments for the scuba industry, which are all based on taking better care of the environment in the production of the year they manufacture.
That's I think they are, central to the diving community, and their ocean positive range is so good to see. And not just that, their packaging as well. They've been working hard all through the lockdowns and that to get rid of plastic packaging, plastic tape, things like that. So it's brilliant to see. And there's a lot of companies out there got to look at them and sort of try and follow and keep up with them, really.
Yeah, and this year was quite sort of pivotal in it, because they brought out their snorkels, their masks, their fins, and it's just it's been really refreshing to see just that.
Yeah, because they're fins, aren't they? Their fins are made from recycled
the
bottles.
fins.
The first in the industry.
That is right. Last year we toured 25,000 kilometers, and we met over 70 companies working both on the production of sustainable products or services. And it was very eye-opening, because you understand better from the regular citizen position that we have, or the consumer position that you have, that we all have, on how much companies really struggle to be sustainable. And it's not easy. You depend on policies on your country, you might manufacture somewhere else as well, so you depend as well on the policy on that country, and then how you're going to move the goods. So there are so many things, so many aspects that you need to take into account, that once again, seeing Fourth Element working as hard as they can in those aspects that they can manage, and indeed packaging is one of them. There has been a recent video of the plastic that they use, which is not plastic, it's an organic material that you put it on water, you sort of stir the water, and then it dissolves. And I've seen other manufacturers, still putting the regulators into small plastic bags. So the fact that we have a sort of medium-sized company such as Fourth Element that is growing so much is what all industries need. They need this sort of medium to small players, that they can be much faster in the way they move, and all of a sudden be noticeable by the bigger players, and then those are the companies that actually push industries to sort of rethink the way they operate, and not just the corporate social responsibility, but the corporate share value, which is how do we today in the corporate world we solve social or environmental issues by making, by making economic value, by in other words, making money out of it, by doing it in the right way.
Yeah.
Is one of the, I think we've got to get it to the point where it's more economical to do it, especially, with the cost of living crisis, and how a lot of the plastics have got oil based, the cost of them, get rid of them and make it more, cheaper to use recycled products and things like that. So companies think, well, it's cheaper to use them than it is just to use first time plastic, oil-based plastics.
Yeah, it's got to be accessible to everybody to get them to buy into it.
There is. So this, the tour, so it started last year. You've got some great companies involved. You've got Fourth Element, Pure Waste, Paddy, Bluefin, Paralens, Hyundai have given you the great car to use. So where did the idea come from? Who come up with the idea?
All right, so we gotta be true to ourselves, as we said before. It actually came about one afternoon in September 2020. We are walking by the beach in Roseto degli Abruzzi, and as most of all beaches that we have around the world, they have some plastic here and there or some trash, and we spoke about what we could do, and of course, how Dan Europe, Diversely Network Europe was, looking forward to sort of really move farther from the motto that they have, and they were born, by pushing or by caring about the ocean, about the scuba safety. But they wanted to also move about, to work on ocean safety. So, it was like sort of the right time from all angles. Everything came together. We put a project together and we showed it to Dan Europe managers, and they immediately love it. They jump on it, and they have been extremely supportive. If it wasn't for the love and passion that Dan Europe managers and the staff that they have for the ocean, we would have never pulled such an amazing sustainable tour such as the one that we did last year and the one that we're doing now.
No, that's really good.
And it's a question that is facing us all as price of fuel and everything else creeps up. Do we swap over to a more sustainable way of diving and just running the kids around and everything and general life?
Yeah, so there's so many aspects about it. We're driving an electric vehicle, and of course, there's again, it's like it looks like we humans, we can do a lot of harm or less harm. So if you're doing a lot of harm and you find something that does a little bit less harm or much less harm, then you probably should move to that, because the next step will be something that does less harm. So you are actually moving away from being harmful to the environment as the years progress. So this is the way that we see it with electrification and sustainable mobility. But here's the catch. For us, it's not just, and Alana can speak a lot more and develop, ocean acidification about it, but it's not just about, the big industry, which is transportation on land, that it is so much responsible for the excess CO2 emissions, but also, once again, about being true to ourselves. What we do see in the next, perhaps 10 years, and what we dream is how we can decarbonize the scuba diving industry. So, we can continue talking for hours about how we can be sustainable in the scuba diving industry and get rid of plastics on the wrecks and so on. But let's not forget that most of the time, everybody that goes scuba diving, they jump on a boat, whether it's a small dinghy or a big boat or a liveaboard, and that one is burning fuel. And then not only is burning fuel, but it might be leaking fuel or leaking oil if you have a two-stroke engine into a marine reserve or actually at the very top of the place where you're scuba diving. So, we dream about seeing a conversion and that, going into sort of sustainable mobility, whether it's hydrogen or electrification or both, happening. And here's the good news. In some countries in Europe, that is already a reality. We saw with our own eyes. We have jumped actually on boats which are solar power, only with solar energy.
Yeah.
Of course, you need
What,
to
big
scale that up.
boats?
Sorry?
What, big boats?
Not so big. No. These are like aluminum boats for 4 or 5 people. But as I was saying, you need
for
to
scuba trips.
Yeah, well, so far they're not very powerful, but if you scale that up, and as technology progress, we're pretty sure that in 10 years' time that technology will be available already for the scuba diving boat. So we're happy that this is actually coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
I need to pause right here. My laptop has just decided to say it's going to turn off.
You plug it in. So are you have you been touring today?
Yeah.
We arrived to Bristol yesterday in the afternoon because we wanted to meet Greenfins. I don't know if you know them.
Greenfins.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We're an outreach partner for them.
Okay. We met Chloe and GJ yesterday, and today we went to Paddy's offices.
Yeah.
So we're based here till tomorrow. Then we're gonna keep going to Cornwall.
Right. Wow.
We're gonna visit Fourth Element headquarters, and we have some events there with some dive centers.
Yeah. Right. You all sorted?
I am. Yeah. Sorry about that. So how are you getting on with? Because we had electric car for a short period of time, for a few weeks, and I found the whole. Never had a full electric car before. I found the whole experience with the car was awesome. I've got to say that the car was great. It was amazing. Thanks to Ford UK, they let us use it. But the network, I found that the whole driving around on an electric car, I was like, oh my God, I'm looking at the speed. I'm looking at how much range I've got. How have you finding, the UK network?
Actually, for us, it has been pretty simple and easy. I think that once you get used to it and you completely change your mindset, it's like that. It gets easier. So for us, that we also partner with a company that is called Ionity that provide also only renewable energy. So we make sure that we are taking our message carbon free in a way. So we partner with them, and they are almost everywhere around the UK and Ireland. So I have to admit that we haven't had any problems, except maybe for the northern part of Scotland. But what they have is that the government has set up charging networks that are also even free in most of the cases. And pretty simple to pay with your credit card and online sign up. So I have to admit that for me, it's been pretty simple.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of planning. I think that's probably what people have to get their heads around. There is a lot of planning involved about your route and where you can stop and to get to the destination.
It's a completely different mindset, exactly. But
I remember many years ago, when we used to go to the mountains, for instance, we have a map. Okay, so we're gonna go through this way. There's this gully, there's this altitude difference, and just look at the map. You had it with you and sort of follow a plan. So I will challenge that it takes a lot of planning. I would say it takes some planning, and it's sort of going back to knowing, being the master of your destiny. Now, if you jump on a combustion engine car and you say, okay, I want to go to Inverness, you might turn on Google Maps or whatever, and then just follow it. And if you're running out of low on gasoline, you might stop in the next on the highway in the next one that pops up. So everything becomes automatic. And then all of a sudden you're in Inverness and you hardly remember where you have stopped or what you have done. It's like you went from A to B, and what's in the middle. So driving an electric vehicle for the time being, because as this evolve, it might reach the point where you have so many charging stations that again you won't have to think much about it. For the time being, it does take planning to know, okay, where are my charging stations? How close are they from the destination that I want to reach? perhaps how many times we'll have to stop, and that's it. Because here's the good news. At the end of the day, there's a lot more charging stations for electric vehicles than for combustion engines. The reason why is because you can plug an electric vehicle to any regular socket on the wall. Yes, it will take more time to charge, but if you are arriving to a bed and breakfast and kindly ask them to let you plug the vehicle overnight, they'll do it. And in the worst case scenario, you have to pay £5 for that, but you will wake up in the next morning and have an extra 100 to 120 miles to continue your journey. So it is not as difficult as people think, or at least so far the combustion engine or the oil industry wanted us to believe. It's pretty simple to drive an electric vehicle.
What sort of range are you getting out of the car?
All right, so this car, we're driving a Hyundai Kona with a 64 kilowatts hours battery, and we have a range that goes in between, I had to use miles, that goes in between, I said 350 to 420 miles, or 400 miles. 400 miles will be 480.
320 miles, 450 Ks.
450 Ks to 480 Ks.
Well,
I'm sorry that I'm not very good at math. I'm not doing the conversion right.
But still, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
You don't need that much.
Yeah, the truth is that the maximum that we were able to take out of the car was 530 kilometers last year. Because it all depends on where you're driving, the temperature, and the terrain. So if you become very efficient to recharge and regenerate as you're driving downhill, you can run for many miles or kilometers without actually draining any battery at all.
It depends on your driving skills. So it's really fun. It's really fun because you need to really learn how to properly drive.
So, Alana, you get more miles per charge, do you?
I get plenty more miles than he.
The truth is, I'm a little bit older than Alana, so I'm starting to drive very slowly and caution, and I'm the one getting more miles. But it always takes longer with me to reach the destination.
It
certainly makes Alana behind the wheel.
It certainly makes you look at the kind of draining the electric and how you're driving. Yeah, because they're fast cars. Electric is fast, isn't it? But
it's fast. The torque is linear. It's a lot more fun to drive. It's safer. Actually, it's much safer than combustion engine.
So, what sort of reception have you been getting from everybody when you've been going around to all the sites? Are people really inquisitive? Because although the electric cars are more popular now than what they were, let's say, a year ago, not many people still got them. The majority is still obviously petrol and diesel. So what sort of, are people inquisitive and seriously thinking about making that change?
Yeah, actually, most people ask us, okay, so you flew here. How did you bring the car? How did you do it? And we said, okay, we came driving from Italy. No, that's not possible. So people still are not completely aware of the possibilities with an electric car. They still think that it's more complicated than it actually is.
Yeah, definitely a mindset thing. And I think that's probably what the biggest hurdle there is to overcome for people to convert to electric cars, because they're readily available with most of the car manufacturers, aren't they?
Yeah, but did you get any feel from either dive centers or places? Because I know you went to some diving locations as well. Any of them talking about getting charging points?
Yeah, certainly. Again, people are very concerned about the range, and we're used to being living in a comfortable world. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to jump into the electric movement once I have the same amount of, recharging stations that you could find for gasoline. But once again, this is a misconception that might come from lots of different places about how to use an electric vehicle. Starting with the fact that a gasoline or combustion engine vehicle cannot be charged at your own home. an electric vehicle can. So you become a little bit more of a master of your own destiny. And then if you throughout the years, solar panels and renewable energy become more accessible, then you can also charge the electric vehicle with a solar panel. And here's the good news. There are already companies in other countries, in other continents, manufacturing electric vehicles that they have lots of solar panels on it, that they are a lot more dynamic, they're a lot more aerodynamic, and that they need less batteries and that they can recharge with solar panels. And this is already today. So, once the industry has gotten into the electric movement, things are not going backward. It's just a forward thinking, development on the technology. I would like to mention, however, something which is really important, and there is a catch with electric vehicles. I won't get into how renewable, the energy that you feed into the battery has to come from renewable sources if you really want to have a green loop, but it's about the mining for the batteries. Almost everything we do, even a regular car, has to, we're going to mine because you need the metal to create the chassis, or like if like a cell phone, you're going to mine. If you like a laptop, like the ones that we're using now, you're going to mine. So nowadays we know that we mine for almost everything that we do in our current society, in the current times. But with the electric vehicle, the battery can be recycled. And it can be recycled a lot more than the regular citizens know or are led to think. As we tour in the Scandinavian countries, some of them are already starting with big recycling facilities, and the citizens there, they said, hey, if you have some spare change, invest in the recycling industry, because this is what is going to drive the future. So you can recycle the battery, and you don't really need to mine in the deep waters. And that is the main concern for the ocean, because there are already companies out there, some of them that they got licenses already to start mining in the very bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah,
Deep
correct.
sea
In the deep sea mining, exactly. So that is terrible. However, let's not forget that most of the oil that we continue to put in the gasoline cars today comes from deep sea. And there's oil spills on a daily basis. We met with companies that they clean oil spills, very professional companies in Scandinavian countries as well, and they did recognize in between closed doors, and they say, listen, you read about the big oil spills, but they're going to be huge for you to read about them. We work because there are minor oil spills happening almost every day. And that's what keeps it going, economically and financially. So, we, as I said, yes, no matter what we do, we'll have an impact on planet Earth, but you can go from having a really, really big bad impact to something that is, less of an impact, and that if you support it in the future will be eventually, a much lesser impact of what we're doing now with the seas.
As technologies advance, we will start to see smaller batteries. We will start to see more recycling batteries. So we account on the evolving technology to also make a less impact. We also visited once when we stopped by in Norway, a company that is working to create batteries out of sawdust.
Really?
So there are several options other than going deep sea mining. We are excited to see how all of this evolve.
Yeah, it depends how quickly technology advances, but as the world is much better at doing things, you hope that it will advance quicker.
But COVID has proved the point, hasn't it? That once money is made available, all of a sudden things can be moved really, really quick. They brought a vaccine up, within months, when that's usually taken years to come up with something like that. So that, anything's possible, as long as the money's made available. But you're right, if alternatives that can be made, and anything's got to be better than having. I seen something I was reading, like massive, great big, like earth moving excavators and things like that, which are controlled from the surface, and there they are going along the bottom.
Scary.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned about the money being available, and of course we have to be very well aware that there's a huge amount of percentage in the population that they suffer. If you live in Europe or in America or some places in Asia, you got to consider yourself lucky, because there's plenty of other countries. We come from Latin America, countries that they suffer from a lot of poverty. But you can have poverty from economical conditions, political conditions, or even social conditions, like that you could see in some countries in Asia and so on. But we consumers from this part of the world, we make a decision, we vote, or we cast our vote every time we make a decision when we buy. We've done almost 32,000 Ks. We stop in a huge number of gas stations, and we've seen a lot of extremely expensive cars. So what is these people doing with these extremely expensive cars? And then so they are choosing where they are actually investing their money, and they could have chosen for a more sustainable or environmentally friendly option, and they didn't. But you don't need to have tons of money. It's, every time you go to a supermarket, or maybe the scuba gear you're going to buy, ask yourself, is it going to come packed in a plastic bag? Yeah, maybe then this is not the company that I need to support. Yeah. Even a mask for 20 pounds. How is it being wrapped? So, you have to believe that as a citizen, you have a lot of power. And you can influence the area that surrounds you, your family, your friends, and the places where you go and do shopping. That's a tremendous power, because if multiply that power times thousands, times 100,000, times millions in a country, then you can certainly have an influence on how the economy and the companies behave.
Yeah, and every little bit that anybody can do all helps to the bigger cause. So it doesn't have to be a massive change that individuals make, and like buying sustainable scuba gear is just the start of it.
Correct. Education is the key. I think as divers we kind of get it. We see it. We you only got to look underwater and you think, wow, this is amazing. We've got to look after it. I think as divers we kind of get it, but it's getting the general public, and as well. And I think education, I can't remember who it was talking about that. And I do definitely agree with that. And that's hence why it's really important to get the kids involved, along the way. And I think you doing the tour, the sustainability tour, is a really good way of spreading the message.
Yes, you're right, and that's exactly our aim, our goal with this project. We're trying to bring to all scuba divers scientific based education on our oceans, because we all go there. We all see what's going on, the beauty of the underwater world, but we also see the destruction and how they're changing and suffering. So what we noticed that was missing is maybe a more comprehensive knowledge of what is that is actually affecting our marine ecosystems in a scientific point of view. So with this project, what we're trying to explain is in a more easy to digest way, friendly way, how is ocean acidification affecting our oceans, what is it, and what can we do to help to this big marine threat.
Cool. Yeah. So when does the tour come to the end? You say you're off to Cornwall?
Yeah, we are heading up to Cornwall, and we're going to be around for 2 more weeks, and then going back to beautiful Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So as you've been in the UK, have you actually done any diving in the UK?
Yes, we have, and we love it.
Brilliant.
So where have you been?
Well,
we went up all the way up to the Orkney Islands, through the the east coast of England.
Yeah.
So
No, Orkney Island, Scotland.
Yeah. But in order to reach Scotland, we needed to go through England, coming down from Italy. So we went up the coast of the east coast of England, and we dove. We did a couple of dives in quarry until we reached a beautiful place where we dove with seals.
Yeah, it was
snorkel with seals.
Farne Island.
Farne Island.
Beautiful. And we also could dive in the area. It was a really beautiful short dive.
Yeah, short
beautiful.
dive. Yeah. And then we reached the Orkney Islands, and we love diving in the Orkney Islands. We actually love the islands both underwater and above water. They are so rich in history and in the nature is amazing, and the history underwater as well. So yeah, it's a highly recommended place for anybody.
And who did you dive with up there?
In the Orkney Islands, with whom did we dive?
With a really nice couple that managed this dive center that is called Kraken Diving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are great. So we visited the Churchill barriers, and it was amazing. We love it.
Yeah. And now you're heading to Cornwall, which is another great diving area as well. So hopefully, have you got any dives planned?
Yes, we have. We're gonna be diving there with Port Harris.
Yes, yeah.
So it's gonna be incredible, I'm sure. We are looking forward to it. We also went to Ireland, and we were diving also there in the Aran Islands. That was super beautiful too. So we have to admit that you have a beautiful region, both below and above water. Yeah. We love it.
Who's you? I've got to ask. Who's you diving with at the Farne Islands? Who took you out?
Dive Academy.
Dive Academy.
Dive Academy.
No, Farne Island.
Aran Islands in Ireland.
In Ireland, Aran Island, it was a Dive Academy. In Farne Island, we were with Fifth Point diving.
Fifth Point diving.
Yeah, because we were there at the end of July.
Yeah.
And now we're off there next Thursday.
Yeah.
All right, there you are. Yeah, you can contact Fifth Point Diving. Great people as well.
Nick and James.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to look them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
That's brilliant.
They're great.
Yeah.
So what gets you out of your comfort zone?
Okay, for me, having to speak in different languages.
So how many languages do you speak?
Well, I only speak Spanish, so I will say that poorly English and poorly Italian, but I try because if you don't jump out of your comfort zone, you don't grow. So even if it scares me and it takes me out of my comfort zone, I still do it because I have a lot to say.
Your English is great.
It's really very good.
It is.
So I'm learning. If you have heard me 1 year ago, but I'm improving, and I'm not a quitter. So even if it scares me, because you can see me, I'm sweating right now because it really takes me out of my comfort zone, but I still do it.
Your English is so much better than my Spanish.
Do you know any Spanish word?
No, unfortunately not. Hola.
There you go.
Hola.
There you go. And what about una cerveza, por favor?
One more drink, please.
Was that beer?
Yeah. Well done. That's all you need.
Yeah. How about you, Manu? What's kind of your comfort zone issue?
Yeah, well, what takes me out of my comfort zone is the destruction of the natural habitat and the wild places on planet Earth. I feel, why does it take me out of my comfort zone? Because I feel that I'm going to run out of time when I reach the end of my life without having done enough. And, sometimes I feel that I'm being stuck and that I could do a lot more, or that I should have done a lot more in the past. One more day you leave is one less day you have to work on it. Yeah. So that really worries me, but that doesn't stop me from doing as much as I can.
Yeah, well, make the most of every day. That's the main. Yeah,
seize the day.
Seize the day. Yes.
Hashtag seize the day. So, Manu, we'd like to get a bit of a life hack, bit of a nugget to give our listener. Manu, what what have you got that you could maybe, pass on to our listeners who are listening, as a life hack or a bit of a nugget to take away from today's episode?
Well, I guess most of the people that are listening to the BiG Scuba podcast, they scuba dive, or that they are interested in water and what lies under the surface. So I started the whole thing the other way around. I come from mountaineering and spending time at very high altitude. So I would recommend people that they sort of explore different ways of understanding the natural world. Like if they are too much into scuba diving, they don't stop, of course, but that they try to hike up a plateau. There's the Atacama Desert, there's the Tibetan Plateau. There are still plenty of glaciers, although most of them are receding, but that you can visit and indeed see how they're melting, but still beautiful places. Forests, that are being cut off. So basically that will be my what I would suggest is just explore, try to develop different ways of understanding and relating with the natural world.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
And Alana?
For me, something that is like my mantra is that everything in life is temporary. So no matter what are you living right now, what are you going through, if it's a good time, enjoy it with humbleness, because it's gonna pass. But also, if you are going through a tough time, learn to be patient, because it's gonna pass.
Yeah, that's good. It's a bit like some people say riding a wave. You go up and then you come down, but you'll always come up again. And
that's life. So we need to embrace it.
Yeah, no, really, really good.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So with your diving, if you could, like this amazing underwater world we've got, if you could take 3 people underwater, they don't have to be divers, they don't have to swim, but if it's just taking them underwater, who would you take and why? So Alana.
Okay. Well, I will definitely take my dad, because I know that he will love it, but he needs to learn how to swim first, but I will definitely take him. Then I will take one of my best friends, Villa, who passed away a couple years ago, because he was like the freest spirit I've ever met. I know that he will be super happy underwater and that we will enjoy our time together. And finally, I think that I will take maybe Venezuela's president, to leave him there on the water.
Leave him there.
Maybe I will take also my sister, because I know that it's a step that she wants to take. She's a surfer, and now I think that she will enjoy being on the water.
Yeah, no, really good answers. Yeah. How about you, Manu?
All right, I wish you would have asked 7 people and not 3, because I have 3 sisters, 6 nephews and nieces, and 1 on the way that will see the light next month.
Wow.
So that will make a total of 7 nephews and nieces. So I will have to decide on taking the 3 eldest ones, the eldest of each of my sisters. So that will be Nico, Giovanni, and Agustin, and I will certainly take them scuba diving, since they are the eldest ones in each of the families, and I'm pretty sure that they will then pass on the passion to their sisters and brothers, and so we'll eventually end up all of us scuba diving. I will take the kids.
Yeah, get them involved.
Yeah,
and they'll tell. Come from. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, and then they'll tell their friends, and it just spreads. Yeah.
Correct.
Sounds like you come from a big family.
Yeah, I do. We're 4. I'm the eldest one and the only boy in the family, and then I have my 3 sisters. So 4 siblings.
Wow, excellent. Okay, this question will go to you both again. If we gave you a billboard, and you can put anything on there what you like. You can put an image, a video, a statement, whatever you want. It's your billboard, but it's going to go out to the whole world. What are you going to put on it? And this question goes to Alana.
Okay, I will put the image that was taken by Voyager 1, Space Voyager 1 in 1990. The blue pale dot is this beautiful photograph space. It was taken like 6 billion kilometers away, and where you can see the Earth looking like literally a blue little pale dot. For me, that image says everything, because it reminds me how fortunate we are to live in this planet that can harbor our life, but also reminds me how little we are in this vast universe. So our problems are not that important. We are fortunate to be alive.
I like that, because that could be a whole jet black background with a little tiny Earth right in the center.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah, very.
Manu, over to you.
Well, I'll continue with the universe theme. And there was another photo taken a little over a decade afterwards by the Hubble telescope, which is called the Deep Field photo. And so the Hubble pointed at a place in the universe that was dark for, I think it was between 2 to 3 months. And so, opened the telescope and the mirror, and it was gathering light through all those weeks. And eventually, the photo or the image show that in that place that is naked, with the naked eye is dark, there are billions of galaxies. And if you actually, raise a pinch of sand in between your fingers and point towards the sky, that will be the size of the, ratio that the telescope covered for the photo. So once again, I cannot only echo Alana's word, but also say that, often we are not thinking about which is our place in the universe. We don't understand even which is our place on planet Earth. We're so, much, traveled by, mundane things that we forget that there must be life out there. We haven't seen it. The universe is so vast that we don't know where it is. And until we reach it, until we find that there's life or whatever, if there's no, that makes our planet even more valuable. People forget about how valuable is living on planet Earth. They don't think about it. They don't see the cosmic perspective. They see it from a very sort of low angle. So I think that both the image that Alana mentioned and deep blue deep field photo and many others which are coming now, the new telescope is taking great photos, hopefully helps people to understand better which is our position in the universe.
Brilliant answers. And you're so right, because there are people like worrying about what they're going to have for their dinner, or worrying about they've got a puncture or something, but in the whole scale of things, that is quite minor. It's just when it comes to the the Earth that we live on. Brilliant
answers.
Really, really good. So if people want to find more about the tour and about Dan in general, but particularly the tour, where is best for them to go to find out about you?
Okay, well, you can visit certainly our website, that is sustainabletour.eu, or you can follow us in Instagram, Dan Europe, or our personal accounts, that is Manu Bustelo or Alana from the Sea.
Great. Okay, well, we'll put those the links in the show notes so that everybody can click on those that are listening. So that's really good. But it's been great chatting to you, and really inspiring. And you just show that looking after our planet is just accessible to everybody, and it doesn't matter how small their effort is, it makes a big difference.
And sustainable diving is the future.
Correct. That is certainly true. We thank you for having us here. We really admire the job that you do, because it's through great communicators such as you that messages and stories can be taken out there, and hopefully lots of young fellows, young kids from high school are listening and will become the future leaders of the world.
Brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Gemma. Keep inspiring our community. So
That's awesome.
So thank you very much for
Thank you very
joining us.
much.
It's been great.
Thanks for coming on. Thank you very much for your time.
We look forward to meet you in person one day.
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Alrighty then. So, how cool was that? That really good.
Brilliant. Yeah. Great couple and quite a deep message as well.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty cool how they met. That sounds great, and the tour, sounds good. Sounds great as well. Sounds like they had a really busy time of it.
Yeah, really good. But yeah, them being a couple and their passion for diving and the environmental sort of care that they've got for our oceans, and the world in general is just it's sort of a double whammy, really, isn't it? So they've got the power of not just one person, it's the power of two, and it's much more powerful.
Yeah, there's some really good answers, I thought, as well, with the our usual set questions. So I thought that was really good. And also it was good as well, what I picked out on the companies involved, actually. Fourth Element, Paddy, Bluefin, Paralens, it's good seeing all them involved. Pure Waste, another one. And is it Ionity,
the charging points. So it's all especially with the charging points, using renewable energy. So that again, it's not just plugging it in. You've got to think where that energy has come from, and they've thought all about that. And it was really good to hear that driving an electric car to destinations was no big deal. It is a mindset, and that was really quite refreshing. It is just a change of perception about driving.
But I think the only thing I would need to add is that we do need charging points at dive locations, which I know that's not going to happen overnight,
and even dive centres, because that would then kind of maybe entice people to go to their local dive centre, because they know they can pop their charge in and they can go and buy their fins or fill their tanks and head off again.
Even there's like one or two points where somebody can actually charge, because if you go and do a course, say, and do your Paddy open water training, you can be in the pool, you could be there for 3-4 hours, enough to get your car charged while you're there. And also that question of when you go into a dive site to do a day's diving, can you go there, do your day's diving, full day, 2-3 dives, and then get back on that one charge, and it is having a charge while you're diving just is a no-brainer. I think there needs to be maybe a lot more publicity and education about us converting. I'm just thinking the UK, converting people over to thinking, it is quite an easy transition moving from a normal petrol diesel car to an electric car. And even people like dive centres, they've all got like dive vehicles, haven't they? Their vans where they transport. So that would be a great next step if there was some move for all the dive centres to make their vehicles electric. Well, that'll be good. It's going to be good to share about all this. Looking forward to the episode coming out. That's gonna be good.
They're a fun couple as well, really good.
And
very positive, and the world, we have got things that we need to put right, and everybody has to play their part.
I like it because it's made people think. If you're seeing the car go around and maybe you're seeing them on tour, you don't have an electric car, it's going to pop that question, is it? You think, well, is now a good time to make that transition? It
is about how would you put it, just making another question mark. So it's making people think and hopefully looking into what options they've got, not dismissing it. Have an open mind.
Brilliant. All right, well, that's kind of it, really, isn't it? You know, for
this episode. Yeah. So thank you for downloading, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. We need those reviews, so do that. That would be really cool. That would really help us out and help build up the following and spread the message.
Yeah, and if you want to drop us a message, you can always pop into our DMs and send us a message. And if you've got any recommendations for future guests or any comments about the episode, drop us a line.
Yeah, we've had people make contact and
it's great.
Say, come on, I want to be on. I want to talk about my diving. So do that.
Yeah, so there's lots of people with lots of stories to tell. So yeah, come our way.
Yeah. So, but for this week, that was
the BiG Scuba Podcast.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Now that does wrap up today's episode of the BiG Scuba Podcast. But if you want to hear more from the podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button depending on what platform you are listening on. That way you will never miss an episode from us. But if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and did enjoy what you heard today, we would really appreciate it if you head to the show page to leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does help us. If you do, please take a screenshot of that review and send it to us on Instagram, and we'll give you a shout out to say a big thank you. If you have any questions for us or anything that has been mentioned in today's episode, be sure to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms or send us an email. The links are in the show notes. We will get back to you no matter what. If you have made it to this point in the episode, we both want to say a big thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.